Thank you so much, Mr. Agbaje, for joining us. You've not been in the news for a long time, but for some reasons you came into the news, and it was about you leaving the PDP for the APC. Give us a sense of what exactly is happening. Are you planning it? Have you moved to the APC? What exactly is behind the story?
Okay, thank you very much. Well,
yes,
I woke up this morning to read the news just like everybody. Normally they say there's no smoke without fire, but I think this is a case of where there's smoke and there's no fire, because there was no fire in the first place. I think it's one of the downsides of social media, where mischief makers can just throw up anything and it's out there. There's no truth whatsoever to it, no fire. So this is smoke without fire. I remain in the PDP.
Okay, so can you break it down what you meant by what you tweeted when you say meaning that's in Yoruba language, for those who are not speakers of Yoruba language? What do you mean by that tweet? Decrypt it for us, if you may.
Well, I think basically the caption that I was said to have written was our locon. In other words, it's our turn. And I was only playing the same game as the mischief makers were playing, to send back to them that in other words, it is not your turn. And that's it really. So because you are not sure where the origin of this mischief, then one can only play to a certain level. And I think I just leave it at that, that it's not your turn, period. Because don't forget that there was a poster of mine, there was a poster with it, with another party platform or party logo. I want to assume, and I'm saying that no, it's not their turn, period.
Are you a supporter of a southern, because you're a member of Afenifere, give us your sense of the stance of Afenifere and perhaps the our local kind of concept that has become a new rave in Nigeria's politics today?
Well, I won't speak for Afenifere because I have not been in the forefront, or shall I say, I have not been very active in the organization as it presently stands today. But if you're asking for my views, yes, definitely, I would say that as Jimi Agbaje, I was hoping that in the spirit of equity, justice, fair play, that the rotation would go round. But it's obvious that the two major parties have decided to play. One has decided to murder religion. The other has decided to murder ethnicity. So we're stuck with it. But if you ask for my views originally were that there should be rotation, and I haven't changed that. But having said that, the position has been taken. I'm a member of PDP, and I'm bound by that decision that has been taken by the party.
Give us a sense of, because as far as things are concerned, you are an elder statesman in many sense, and I wouldn't want to start analyzing why you are an elder statesman, but well, from your own point of view, it is obvious that Nigeria is in dire need of a way forward, someone that will chart a new course for the nation going forward from 2023. And the security, the economy. There are a lot of issues on the table. Uniting the nation above every other thing is very crucial. Now, for those who will think ethnicity, religion, these are non-issue. They shouldn't even determine the quality of the candidates we put forward. Do you agree with those sentiments or that school of thought that Whether Muslim, or to the north or to the south, it doesn't matter. As far as Nigeria gets quality, what do you make of this argument?
Ordinarily, it should not. But in our circumstance, they do matter. And that's why I said that the two parties have murdered, one has murdered ethnicity, the other has murdered religion, unfortunately. But that is the situation we find ourselves. You see, we are in a country today where we're like a country that is at war. And whoever is going to come to take over in 2023 must be ready for post-war governance. You know, it's like a country that everything has collapsed. You just mentioned it, security, every system. I laugh when people talk about, oh, why is the judiciary like this? Why is the police like this? Why is INEC like this? And I say that people are looking for an island of purity in a system that has more or less collapsed. There's no such thing. And so we're going to need to have, so that's why I said ordinarily it shouldn't matter. But what Nigeria is going to need, based on the contraption that we have now in all the parties, I suppose there are 2, 3 major or 3, 4 major parties, is to look for people who accept that we're at war and that what Nigeria needs is a reset. And when we talk about a reset, it's in the line of what you have when you had the Great Depression in America and you had a New Deal, the New Deal. And after World War II, in Europe, you had what they called the Marshall Plan. We're going to have to do a reset. We're going to need to have a leader that people trust because we're going to need to make sacrifices. We're in big trouble everywhere. And the only way we can move forward is to have a leader that the people trust, that leader is there for them, not for themselves, not for himself or herself. And so that's where we are at this point in time. It's serious. It's a serious situation we find ourselves. Campaigns should start in September. I want to believe that the parties, the candidates, are looking seriously as to how they're going to sell themselves to Nigerians. And that's why when I said, you call Nigerians local, basically what I was saying there, that it's not about personal issues, it's not about personal ambition, it's not about your dream, it's about what Nigerians, it's a turn of Nigerians to speak. And the only way they can speak is if those candidates sell themselves well. And I hope that Nigerians will live up to that. It's time for Nigerians to speak and ask those questions from the parties. What do you really have for me? Not what you have for yourself. And it's not just about stories. It's not about propaganda. It's not, again, about religion. It's not about ethnicity. You've gone past that. Not to settle, you've gone past that. And you're all carrying that baggage one way or the other. At least the 2 major parties are carrying that baggage and they're rolling with it and they have to roll with it. But then they've got to earn the trust of Nigerians.
What's the consequence? You said one party has murdered ethnicity and the other murdered religion. What is the consequence of this action on our politics, on the polity itself?
Well, there's a measure of, shall I say, lack of trust. There's a measure of you're not unifying the way you should unify because people are taking opposing ends. And so it's difficult to then it's more difficult to carry everybody along. So those who are still fighting, as you can see, those who are still upset with rotational issues are still on that. Those who are on religion will be on that. And so that's not what we need at this time. At this time, we need to have leaders who are going to say, we've got a problem. Yes, maybe like Yaradua, if you remember when President Yaradua came on. He came on a very shaky platform or in a shaky way. But he came up and said, I admit that the system that threw me up was bad, but I'm going to change it. And people bought into it. And that's the kind of thing I'm asking our leaders who want to, govern us to accept that there is a defect. There is a problem at this point in time. And that to change that problem is that they have to accept that there is a problem rather than trying to defend it. I hear the parties talking about, oh, there's nothing wrong in Muslim. Of course, there's something wrong in Muslim. oh, there's nothing wrong in rotational presidency. Of course there's something wrong with rotational presidency. So accept it and say, you know what, this is it. Now, how do we make it better? And I think that's the way to go forward. If we don't do that, then we're not going to get Nigerians to rally around the leadership and get the results we want.
All right, Mr. Jimi Agbaje, I must sincerely thank you for your interventions tonight on some of these issues. So it's clear to us that you are still a member of the PDP, you have not moved to the APC. Thank you so much for clarifying these issues for us tonight.
Thank you very much.